Yep, making a part 2. There's tons more good stuff to talk about, but before we start, in the time between my last video and now, I can't pretend that this didn't happen. Screw this decade. Still having a blast with this game. In fact, I saved up a lot of footage. Got 7 things to talk about, and we'll go over them one by one. First off, the unfair bashing this game gets. Recently, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet came out, and that is an actual mess. Now, I'm seeing a lot of people throw the blame all on Game Freak. I'm not saying you shouldn't, but I'm saying don't forget Nintendo as well, because remember, they are the ones giving the orders for Game Freak to just keep cranking out Pokemon games. And at this point, Nintendo went all in on pulling a Call of Duty with Pokemon. They've been doing that for 6 years now. Back to back, Pokemon got something. Hence the thumbnail for this video. People bash on Gotham Knights, but the crap they say about the game, how that's disappointing, that exactly happened with Pokemon. And another game to talk about is Marvel Midnight Suns. Now, this one isn't out yet. At the time of this recording anyway. Gotham Knights gets so much crap. Some people even say it looks like a freaking mobile game. But look at Marvel Midnight Suns. Now, first of all, the game is a freaking XCOM clone. Plus, it has a card system. And the developers of this one, veterans at that, they're the ones that made the XCOM Revival games. Also, they've made the Civilization games since the 3rd one. My point is, what is the logic on making Midnight Suns the type of game that it is? It's a Marvel game that's an XCOM clone, instead of being an action game where you're in full control of your characters. Heck, if it played like Ultimate Alliance, that would have been great. But no, it's this niche crap. And said crap looks like an actual mobile game. Oh, and this game will be monetized. In fact, there's even a season pass for this. You didn't see Gotham Knights doing that. Next thing to talk about is mainly levels, but there's a few other things to mention as well. Here's the point of the story I'm at. There are 8 chapters in total, so I'm at the halfway point right now. And I got all the waypoints now, because in chapter 2, that's when Lucius Fox shows up, and you gotta do these missions to unlock every fast travel point. And the funny thing is, by the time I've done this, I've done a lot of the side missions, and the way fast travel works, I was spoiled on that because of the Mr. Freeze side case. Because I grinded levels early, I did those side cases early. At this point of the game, I'm at level 30 for everyone. Now here's why I'm bringing this up. So before I got the game, I checked out, XP farming videos, and they mentioned that the level cap is 40, which it is. But you can only go to level 40 when you're New Game Plus. So for now, I'm pretty much at the soft cap. Certainly a weird design choice, but it's not exactly bad. Because once you're at level 30, you're always stronger than everything else. In fact, if you go into missions at a far higher level than what they recommend, you'll always have the advantage. Even in boss fights, you'll do better than you would have if you did that in the low recommended level. One more thing to talk about before talking about the villains. Look at this clip. People bash on the visuals, but how in the world does this look bad? How? And I especially love this particular suit because it's the closest thing to the Arkham Knight suit. In fact, I never wanted to unequip this, and now that I'm at level 30, I never will. I mean, sure, I still have a couple of more suits to unlock and check out, but this is my favorite suit for Red Hood. Now to talk about the villains. First is Harley, and wow, I love this version. But okay, maybe not love, but wait, I'm not exactly one to be hesitant on this crazy chick because my Street Fighter waifu was Jury. Anyway, this version of Harley is actually a villain. Like, freaking, finally we got an evil Harley again. Like, the anti-hero version, DC pushed that one for years. In fact, let me check how long they've been doing that. Okay, since Volume 4 back in 2011. Jeez, they've been doing this for 11 years.
Nope, that's too many mannequins.
Swear to God, I gotta deal with mannequins again. And her plan in this one involved putting chips in people's heads? Just making normal people start riots everywhere. And it's almost as if this version of Harley had her "we live in a society" moment. And here's a closer look at that design coming up. Seriously, man, the bashing better not ruin this game's chances. This version of Harley deserves to be in other stuff.
So that's how you're controlled.
Okay, now looking at this design, this version of Harley looks like if Heath Joker had a Harley. One more thing, look at how freaking strong she is. That is a sledgehammer, not a regular mallet.
Hit on
Oh, no. That person did not survive that hit.
You must have cheated! The bats definitely would have figured out where I was faster. And he would have personally taken me back to Blackgate. Like a gentleman.
Yeah, we both know I'm not a gentleman.
And I almost forgot. The Telltale Batman game, that one had a villain Harley. But seeing a villain Harley again in anything else is still rare. Next up is Mr. Freeze. At this point, it really turned into Batman and Robin. He's freezing Gotham. Now, I don't recall his wife being mentioned at all, but the reason he went off is because after Bruce died, that means no more money for him doing his research. Like, he was going clean. I didn't expect Gotham City to get such a big change to be frozen over. Yet an inexperienced team that now just has 2 games under their belts pulled this off. I know God of War 4 and 5 and Red Dead 2 set the bar for snow in games. This isn't at that bar, but it still looks good. On to the first Mr. Freeze boss fight. There's 2 of them here. Now, I was a little prepared for this one because I've heard some talk about this fight on Reddit that it might be a pain. Now, it was a little annoying, but nothing terrible. In fact, the point where I died at just once, it's not that this was designed poorly, it's just that I overthought it. Like, it's those type of in-between sections that you've seen in a lot of boss fights. And I thought the solution was, okay, just roll past those lasers. But no, you just have to run in between them. But don't be too close. And one other thing about this fight, I didn't notice that I had freaking ice gear equipped. I was so focused on the numbers, but I had ice element gear equipped instead of fire. I almost forgot to talk about his design. It's fine. In fact, it seems to be impossible for media to ever screw up Mr. Freeze's design. Every game, every appearance he gets, he always looks cool. Shoot, even Schwarzenegger's version looked good. That was before Batman and Mr. Freeze Sub-Zero, where the red visors were around, and that just stuck with Freeze ever since. And Freeze is lucky Jason didn't just end him right here. And I wouldn't say that's out of character for Jason. I mean, he would want to do this case, you know, Bruce's last case, the way he would. On to the second fight. Now before that, this is where I was spoiled on that fast travel gear. Luke Fox was the one that designed this, by the way. I thought it would have been cool to use this in the game itself, but you actually do use it in the game. So Freeze is in Blackgate, about to make his move, and I'm playing co-op at this point. In fact, I was worried Freeze wouldn't be good for co-op, but the second fight turned out to be better than the first one. One thing to note, one color palette in this game, this white color palette here, pretty much turns Red Hood into Moon Knight. Oh god, that'd be a terrible combination. Jason Todd with Khonshu. Shoot, Khonshu would never want to switch, because Jason would be all for killing criminals like he is. So, as you see, this fight is better. In fact, I'm guessing Freeze will be for 4-player raids. It seems like this version is designed for it.
You will breathe by my hand. I will bring darkness. Embrace the cold. I am master of the elements. Eternal storm to Gotham.
Next is Penguin. No, you don't fight him. In fact, he helps you out. And you find the Court of Owls. Just one thing to say about his design, he looks like the Colin Farrell version. And yeah, the Court of Owls are in this, making this the second Batman game those newer villains are in. The villains that, pull the strings behind the scenes in Gotham, been around for centuries. They're basically Templars. Which leads me to my question of why does Tim Drake just have assassin robes? That's just what his privateer suit is. Specifically, assassin robes from Assassin's Creed 2. Playing co-op in this section too, I just wanted to show this part off a little bit, showing how cool it is to see that while I'm doing a stealth attack, the teammate is just dragging targets up. I don't know how people can bash on this. Playing with a teammate, you're both members of the Bat family, just stealth attacking everybody, if you can. The devs went way overboard with this. But the reason it's not as bad is because if one player makes it to the end, that counts for both. And at this point, you find out that the Court of Owls have a crappy version of the Lazarus Pit. Their version brings people back, but their minds are just gone. And coming up, you'll see this example of level 30 just beating everything. I just went Raiders of the Lost Ark on them.
They're mining something called Dionysium. And it smells like Lazarus Pit water to me.
A foul substitute for the true miracle. A contaminated extract. For centuries, the court has been looking for a fountain of youth. Instead, they found the makings of undying monsters.
And playing through the main story bits as Jason, to me it seems like this is more of Jason's story than the others, considering that he was brought back to life. Next is Clayface. Oh, you'll see. I might not have much to say here. Except that the version of Clayface I remember is the one from the 2004 Batman animated series. The version that Joker was responsible for creating. But this version being a former actor?
Neat trick, but it won't work on me.
I know nothing about that.
Belfry, I see some clay. He's moving fast.
Roger that. Stay close.
So, this is blown. Yeah, people want to bash on this game. Clayface looks horrifying! Look at this! It's like a little mini kaiju just trashing the city! It's gotta be the one time I want the Bat Tank!
Let him come.
He can't. He's dead, Clayface.
Is this really how it ends?
Goddamn Clay.
You shall die like Batman. I won't let you kill me too! Give me a chance! You won't get away with this! No! I'll show you how it's done!
Also, you think something like this would have really messed with the game's performance, but it doesn't. Meanwhile, Pokemon is a mess with its performance issues.
This would be fun.
Come to watch the show, Red Hood!
You are one
I'm
ugly
just here to kick your
motherfucker.
ass.
I'm done playing. Tonight is mine, and you won't stop me. You'll die!
Right.
Get in a minute. Come on, fight me. You can't escape. Did you really think it would be that easy?
Belfry, I'm gonna take down Clayface. I need a place that's hot and dry.
There's a smelting factory west of your position.
Oh shit!
Where do you think you're going?
So, here's one Spider-Man flashbacks. Oh, I'm definitely cutting through this. This was another annoying section. A few times. Because this section expects you to slow down when you can't. You got that whole wave of clay chasing you. Okay, hit him up and get him started that way. Pause. And this will probably be another raid boss fight. But oh man, I don't want to imagine how that previous section would have been with 2 players.
Looks like you had some fun.
Gotta get my kick somewhere. And now you get to write it all up.
2 last things. 1, this infamous bit. I've seen this around, but I didn't watch the whole thing before I got the game because I didn't want to be spoiled. But now I got the context for this goofy shit. That was footage that Bruce had planned to put in place just in case people start to put 2 and 2 together. And remember, when he's around as Bruce, that's more of the secret identity than Batman. So he does stuff like that all the time as a cover. I got no complaints there. In fact, I wish the movies did stuff like this. And the other is this bit with Alfred. I'm not one of those Batman fanboys that go, Alfred can solo Superman. No. Like, man, I am so sick of that, especially when that 1 was an Elseworld story, and 2, the guy had metahuman pills. But I digress. When regular people mess with Alfred, they don't know what they're in for.
I trust Master Grayson has been helpful as you adjust?
Yeah, he sure has. Dick had his first investor call the other day. I'm surprised how well he did.
Every day I find...
You geezers escaped from the old folks' home. Don't you know it's dangerous out here at night?
Every day I find new reasons to be proud.
Empty your pockets or I empty the gun. You know what? Never mind.
That's right, you get your ass out of there. Smartest decision you made in your life. Man, and Jacob Kane is a war veteran too, and these 2 have a history? By the way, people are making mods for this game. The bashers would probably hate that. The first mod I saw was an Arkham Knight mod for Jason. But now there's more, including freaking Raphael and Daredevil. Because of course somebody made that. So my point is, somebody better make a mod of Alfred and Jacob Kane. It shouldn't be too hard to do. And back to the Arkham Knight mod real quick. I wondered how the heck were people able to do that? But I checked to see which engine these games used. Arkham Knight used Unreal 3. Gotham Knights uses Unreal 4. So bringing the Arkham Knight model over must have been easy for these modders. Like seriously, Alfred is the guy. This is the guy that has weapons all over Wayne Manor to the point that Bruce can't find them all. No joke, he finds one. Alfred has tons more hidden. Because, remember, he's still an old man. So he is ready just in case people try to mess with him to get to Bruce, or they just try to rob Wayne Manor, like in this picture here. Somebody tried to rob Wayne Manor, and Alfred blasts him down with plastic bullets, by the way, not live ones. In fact, he said so to Bruce, "Of course not. I'd never get that out of the carpet." And this is just another reason why I hate Batman's code. In this game, there are, again, weird timing for this, you later find Batman's logs. And in the first log, Bruce quotes this from Alfred.
As Alfred put it, surrendering to violent impulses is easy. Controlling them is what takes courage.
In fact, that contradicts one of Bruce's reasons for having the code. Alfred controls those impulses. Jason controls those impulses. But Bruce? No, writers always use the same, "oh, if I kill criminals, I become them" thing, when that just makes it seem like Bruce can't control his impulses, despite all his training. Yet, Batfleck, he controlled those impulses. Still my favorite Batman. And the Arrowverse version of Batman, he was established to have killed Joker. He still operated like he normally did before he went missing, so that version of Batman controlled its impulses as well. So yeah, game's still decent. All those bashers have Rocksteady on the brain. And I still stand by my point of the game deserving a 7, or more so an 8, because of all the unexpected things the developers have pulled off. And this inexperienced team learned from Marvel's Avengers. And lastly, seeing more and more Titans Easter eggs really makes me want a Titans game from this development team. I'm starting to wonder, how can the developers even get away with Starfire's original design? Then again, I guess they can just copy the design from JL vs. Teen Titans.